Soap Lake sits at the southern end of the lower Grand Coulee and was carved by the catastrophic Missoula Floods at the end of the last ice age. Unlike most lakes, it has no natural outlet, so minerals have accumulated for thousands of years. The lake is highly alkaline and saline and is rich in dozens of dissolved minerals, and one of only a handful of meromictic lakes in the United States, meaning its deep waters rarely, if ever, mix with the upper layer. The water feels noticeably slippery, almost soapy, which is exactly how the town got its name. Long before European settlement, Indigenous peoples considered the lake a place of healing. Oral histories describe rival tribes calling temporary truces so injured people, and even horses, could bathe in the mineral waters. The original name, Smokium, is often translated as healing waters. Soap Lake's boom began around the year 1905, when entrepreneurs recognized that the lake's unusual mineral composition could be marketed as a natural remedy. This coincided with a nationwide fascination with mineral springs and health resorts. Across America, people sought relief from chronic illnesses in hot springs and mineral baths, and Soap Lake became Washington's answer to resorts like Hot Lake in Oregon or the famous spas of Saratoga Springs. Developers built sanitariums, bathhouses, hotels, boarding houses, private cottages, restaurants and cafes, and even dance halls and entertainment venues opened. The town quickly became much more than a farming community. It became a destination. Interestingly, today's Soap Lake began as two rival communities. One development, platted in 1905, was called Siloam. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Let me know in the comments if I didn't. After the biblical pool of Siloam, known for healing, another nearby plat, established a few years later, was called Cottage City. As development continued, the two communities merged, and the name Soap Lake was ultimately chosen because it was already widely recognized by visitors. By the 1920s, the lakeshore featured several impressive hotels catering to health tourism. Perhaps the best known was the Pacific Apartments, advertised nationally as both a luxury hotel and the social center of the Columbia Basin. This photo is part of the public domain. Thank you, Wikimedia, for the image's use. It overlooked the lake and attracted guests seeking extended stays while undergoing mineral treatments. The building still survives today, though in a different role than originally intended. Many hotels featured private mineral baths, mud treatment rooms, dining rooms, verandas overlooking the lake, and weekly entertainment. Visitors often stayed for weeks or even months. The sanitariums resembled today's medical spas more than hospitals. Patients came hoping to relieve arthritis, rheumatism, psoriasis, eczema, poor circulation, Buerger's disease, nervous disorders, and digestive complaints. Typical daily routines included morning mineral bath, mud pack, rest periods, prescribed walks, special diets, afternoon bath, and social activities in the evening if one desired. Doctors frequently supervised treatments, lending an air of scientific credibility, even though many of the health claims were never rigorously proven. During peak seasons, Soap Lake overflowed with visitors. Hotels filled completely, boarding houses filled, and private homes rented spare bedrooms, all at a time before Airbnb. When no rooms remained, visitors pitched tents or literally slept beneath their automobiles just to remain close enough to use the lake each day. Contemporary accounts describe the shoreline becoming a temporary city during the busiest summer months. People didn't come only for medical reasons. Soap Lake developed into a lively resort town with outdoor dances, concerts, picnics, boating, swimming competitions, and community celebrations. Residents recalled that dances often attracted people from many miles away, making the town one of central Washington's social hubs during the 1920s. One of the most remarkable endorsements came in 1933 when the U.S. Veterans Administration selected Soap Lake for an experimental program treating veterans suffering from Buerger's disease a painful disorder affecting blood vessels. Although the program involved only a small number of veterans, it generated nationwide publicity and strengthened Soap Lake's reputation as a legitimate therapeutic destination. In 1938, the town opened McKay Hospital, which served not only as a medical facility, but also as a research center studying the lake's mineral waters and local climate. Researchers hoped to determine whether the lake possessed measurable therapeutic properties beyond anecdotal reports. Several events gradually brought the Golden Age to a close. The Great Depression dramatically reduced discretionary travel. Many Americans could no longer afford lengthy health vacations. Medical science was also changing. By the late 1930s, and especially after World War II, new pharmaceuticals, including antibiotics and improved treatments for inflammatory diseases, reduced reliance on spa therapies. At the same time, widespread automobile tourism shifted toward national parks, beaches, and other vacation destinations rather than extended medical retreats. After the war, Soap Lake remained a resort town, but it never regained the national prominence it enjoyed during its heyday. Construction of the Columbia Basin project and irrigation canals had an unexpected consequence on the lake. Groundwater seepage from irrigation began diluting the lake's mineral concentration during the 1950s. The Bureau of Reclamation eventually installed wells and pumps to intercept much of that seepage in an effort to preserve the lake's unique chemistry. Today, Soap Lake has roughly 1,700 residents and is a quiet community that still markets itself as Washington's health resort. It remains popular for swimming, paddleboarding, floating, self-applied mineral mud baths, photography, bird watching, and geology enthusiasts exploring the Grand Coulee area. If you're making a day trip, I'd recommend East Beach, the most popular swimming area, West Beach, quieter with excellent views, the historic downtown, several buildings date from the health resort boom, and the Mass Choirs Theater, a surprisingly active community theater. For shopping, don't forget to drop in on Mom's European Food and Deli. There you will find a plethora of items from Eastern Europe. I love the smoked fish they sell there. Soap Lake is much more than a beautiful lake in the middle of central Washington. It is a place where geology, Native American history, medical curiosity, and small-town determination all came together to create one of the most unique communities in the Pacific Northwest. Although its glory days as a world-famous health resort have long since passed, the lake continues to draw visitors who come to experience its remarkable waters and learn about its fascinating past. If you ever find yourself traveling through the Grand Coulee area, I highly recommend making the short detour and check it out. You might leave with a little mud on your feet, a few unusual souvenirs, and hopefully a greater appreciation for this one-of-a-kind town. If you enjoyed this look at Soap Lake's history, please consider giving the video a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with someone who loves the history of Washington State. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.